Stay tuned and listen to my story of how leaving a toxic work environment saved my life and improved my mental health. I hope this story touches someone and maybe changes another life. God bless you. Okay, so I have been wanting to record a video and tell y'all about, in maybe about an hour's time, less than an hour's time, the last 8 years of my life. 9 years counting this year. So I want y'all to know I've been planning this, been thinking about this. This has been on my mind for so long. And the last 45 minutes, I have been running around like a crazy person trying to figure out how to best do this, how to present myself, how to look good, all of that. And then I realized I am the best at just being real. And I've got a bunch of notes that I've taken on black paper, of course, that I've taken that I wanted to read from, that I want to go back to. But it's just I'm so good at storytelling, and I feel like I have the gift of gab, and really, really good at just talking and being real. So I'm just gonna give it to you guys real. As you can see from the title, maybe you all clicked the title. It was clickbait-esque type title, right? But not at the same time, because this is all real, this is all serious, and the title, Unchained and Unmedicated, could not be any more real. So let's get into it. I quit my job a year ago. A year ago, July, I think 18th is when I put in my 2 weeks notice. First 2 weeks notice in a job that I've ever had, ever. Especially since college. I graduated from Albion College in 2008. I've been working ever since. I've went through a period of layoffs, 2 layoffs from 2 Fortune 500 companies. And I got this amazing job in the industry that I was in. I'm just gonna say service industry, right? Because I was servicing what I like to say all walks of life. In a field that I was very passionate about and very educated in, and just is a dream come true. So I was able to move to Chicago in 2014 after a layoff from my previous employer, and literally moved without nothing. Shout out to my mom and dad and my aunt and uncle and everything like that. But in terms of me, I packed up my car. I had my grandmother's Mercury Sable, packed it up, sold everything in my apartment in Kalamazoo down to furniture. I kept just enough furniture that if and when I do move into another place, I can get started. And my best friend had a barn, shout out to Meggers, had a barn that I could store my stuff in. Talk about people believing in me. She's yes, you can store it. So yeah, so moved to Chicago with really nothing, had filed for unemployment for the first time in my life. But the day I got officially laid off, before I applied for unemployment, literally before I even, did anything, sent off applications. Boom, 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 boom. Because I'm always ready. The saying say, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. That couldn't be even any more true. So was able to have a cover letter, resume, all that sort of stuff ready to go, send it off. Then in the same breath, applying for unemployment. Had never done it in Michigan, and this is pre-COVID, so I sympathize with anybody that struggled applying for unemployment during COVID, because it was crazy for me back in 2014. Apply for unemployment, boom, and then meet up with my coworkers that all got laid off for a little, get together. So I was blessed that in that period of time of applying for a job, one of those employers called me back, and that ended up being the employer that I worked for the last 8 years. Loved it, dream come true, moved me to Chicago, was able to get on my feet after my gracious aunt and uncle let me move in with them. Thank you to the Williams family there for my aunt Lisa and Uncle Timothy Williams. I appreciate all of that. So that is, and Kelly, all the people that helped me to get to Chicago and to be able to get on my own 2 feet and live out this dream that I am currently still living. I'm still in Chicago. I am happily in Chicago. Chicago's home for me. So, in a way, because mommy and daddy, I miss y'all. But, so yes, I worked for this employer for the last 8 years, and let me tell you, in that last 8 years, I have struggled with my mental health dramatically. Like, dramatically. I had a tumultuous breakup in the midst of that time that I know contributed to some of the struggles that I had with my mental health. But in about 2015 is when I realized, hey, something's a little different with me. I'm not depressed. I can't describe it. And by the grace of God, I was blessed with a doctor, a PCP, where I was able to talk to him and be like, look, I've taken this written test where you guys add the numbers and it says I'm depressed and you give me medication. And I'm not opposed to that. I'm not that person that's opposed to that. But that's not it. Like, it's not depression. Like, I am sad because of this other thing that I don't understand. I can't describe. And breaking down in his office and breaking it down to him that way, he was like, you know what? I'm going to refer you to someone. And he referred me to the most amazing psychiatrist who I'd been working with for the last 8 years. And that literally saved my life. So we're part of the catalyst of people that saved my life. So yes, I was diagnosed with severe generalized anxiety, with PTSD, as well as depression was one of those symptoms. So, no wonder I'm sad and crying and just can't get out of bed and I'm, that sort of thing. And at that time, literally took the time to understand me, my wants, my needs, anything that I wanted, my understanding. And I take that as a blessing because I didn't know what questions to ask, but I just knew at that time, like, something's not right and I don't want to be on medication. I had really no reason as to why I didn't want to be on medication other than that's what I'm supposed to say, right? That I ain't trying to be on medication because whatever this is, I should just be able to pray about it and I'm good, right? So this person said to me, your issues, you're not sleeping. And I'll come back to that. So you're not sleeping and your brain needs this time to be able to really just to shut down, to be able to rejuvenate yourself. Like, you have to power off. And if I can get you something that's going to help you sleep at night, would you take it? Because if we can get to that foundation of you're getting restful sleep, we can probably get to, the hopes is we can get to the root of everything. Like, yes, sure. Okay, cool. This is 2015. So fast forward, I had gone through a breakup, have started my mental health support groups and social media, and become a certified mental health first aid instructor, a certified cognitive behavioral techniques life coach, all these things. So I am so knowledgeable in myself. Let me just say that. I am a professor, I am a scholar when it comes to myself at this point. I know it's more to learn because I'm not going to be tomorrow who I am today. But all these things, had healed from this breakup, had did deep dive into myself. Like, starting this like radical self-love journey, this self-healing journey prior to it becoming a social media fad. I'm not saying there wasn't other individuals doing it. I'm not saying that self-help, self-health, self-love, all that sort of stuff wasn't around back when I needed it in 2014, 15, and so on and so forth. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is I had to do it for me. And there weren't enough people in my immediate group that were doing that, or that were talking, let's say that we're talking publicly about that. And I mean publicly within even your social groups. Because, I'm sorry, 5-6 years ago, even 8 years ago, I was not telling any of my best friends that I was depressed, or it's just, and not that they made it an unsafe space for me, but it was just not something that you did. It wasn't something that I was empowered to even do. Salute to those that have been empowered to talk about themselves, who have lived with mental illness for longer than me diagnosed. Like, I believe that back when I was 15, I was anxious. I was an anxious child, and we just didn't have the language for it. No fault of my parents or anything else. It was just no language for it because it's not something that we come up in our communities. And I can only speak to the Black and women community. I can't speak for other communities, but it's just not something even in my immediate community that we talked about, which is, I mean, it's okay. Do we talk about it now? We absolutely do. But during that time of my life, it was like, there's nobody who looks like me. There's nobody on social media anywhere that I'm scrolling every day and night just because that's what we do, right? That looks like me, that's talking about this, and I'm not okay, you know? And through that journey have literally worked on myself. And if you know me, you know, some of y'all probably heard this story already, and I'm just putting it out for the masses because this is an important topic that I want to talk about. But again, did all this work, therapy, psychiatrist, like once a week, twice a week, you know, once a month, I mean, for the last 8-9 years. And I'm like, something's not right. Something still is not right. Mind you, in this last 8-9 years period of time, my doctor plenty of times was like, do you need to find another job? And I'm like, no, absolutely not. I have some sense of job security because, again, I moved here unemployed with my second layoff, right? I was, 5 years out of college, going on 6 years out of college with a degree and a master's degree at this point. Having went through 2 layoffs that have absolutely nothing to do with me, right? So I'm like, no, I have some job security. Like, I just have to be able to overcome these things that I'm going through at work. And what I went through at work, it's sad to say, I'm not the first person, and I probably will not be the last person, but I am hoping that with more people talking out about the toxicity of work environments, that maybe it'll shine a light or more health, mental health training, more managerial development training for managers with not just how to do their jobs on the business side of things and the number side of things, and the, you know, but on the HR, the actual human resources side of things. Now, I mentioned I have a master's degree. I have a master's degree in human resource management. And my mother, love you, Krista Robinson, she retired after 37 years working at U of M, and she had worked in HR for, I believe, the last 20, give or take, years in HR. So I was influenced in that field to get into HR, but I did not want to be an HR generalist. I didn't want to work in what I knew, you know, at that time, in the human resources department per se. I wanted to become a better leader. I wanted to know how to manage personnel, how to, you see my dog, Scuba, he like, Mama, you talking? How to manage personnel, how to really be a good leader and an influential leader, right? By, you know, people knowing and appreciating how I actually make them feel, even being in a leadership role. There's always been that stigma of women in leadership, right? She got to be the bitch, right? Not true at all. I'll say that. I will say that I've had some, but I have had some amazing boss. And one of the bosses that I have to say her name because, and I, you know, is Brenda Laker in Kalamazoo, Michigan area. She is the best boss, has made the biggest impact on my life. And a lot of what, I'm gonna say supervisor, a lot of what influenced my trajectory upon leaving Kalamazoo when I lost my job. So shout out to Brenda Laker. She is currently battling breast cancer, so everybody say a prayer for her because she's amazing. She is a gift to this earth. And Brenda, I hope you hear me. So I became knowledgeable, right? So again, becoming an expert and a scholar in a subject that I wanted, that I loved, that I found some sort of joy in. That's one thing I love about higher education, is the fact that you can kind of pick your modalities and can pick, this is what I want to be an expert in. Let me learn more about that, right? Instead of the other schools and grades and stuff like that we have, that we go through, where we just taking classes just to be taking classes, whatever. That's a whole other topic. But again, going back to the experiences that I had and the education that I had, you know, and things like that, and discovering that although I had put in all this work on myself, I had kept ignoring the fact that it could be my job. Maybe it is my job. It is my job that is affecting my mental health. Like, what? Like, never in a million years would I have thought that my job would affect my mental health in the way that it did. Like, I mean, to the point where I struggled to get out of bed. I noticed, because I was doing this deep work in myself, you know, and figuring out what my triggers are, because I don't want to have them. I don't want these triggers to set me back. So if I identify a trigger, I'm going to work to the next time if it arises, because one of my triggers is when it's hot. When I'm hot, oh, it's a wrap. My anxiety shoots through the roof. And unfortunately, I'm in the Midwest, and it was just like 100 degrees here in Chicago. So I have to work on those things, so that way it doesn't debilitate me and paralyze me and prevent me from enjoying life. So I'm like, it can't be work. How is it work? I need to work to pay these bills, right? But it was work. It was work, and it was work because of a variety of things. There was a lot of narcissism. There was a lot of gaslighting. There was a lot of nepotism. There was a lot of things that, to me, I just was like, this is not right. Like, this is not okay. Like, how is this happening at work? And because of the gaslighting and because of the influence that it had, because again, I was at work. You think about it, a lot of us are at work more than we're with our own families, right? So me, because of the person that I am and how close-knit I thought my last job was, they were my family. And again, I moved here, and I had my aunt and uncle and my cousin that was here, and that was it. You know, I left an area where I had tens of, you know, hundreds of friends and people that knew me and, you know, stuff like that, to an area where nobody knows me at all. So these are my family, right? And a lot of them still are very much my family, and best and closest friends. But there are those that it was like, wow, like really seeing how people are for themselves. And it's okay to be for yourselves, right? It's okay to be for yourselves. I don't want to say that it's not, but to really see and to become witness to the negativity and the toxicity that people could have because they are in leadership roles, or they have the power to make decisions, or they know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, right? Because we all talk about, and we all talk about, and we all hear, it's all about, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that's so messed up. It's so messed up. Like, I appreciate the fact of people who have assisted me to get somewhere, but if you assisted me to get somewhere that I had no right to be, then one, I'm sorry for putting you in that position, right? Because I was raised to, you need to go out there and get your piece of the world, and don't give anybody a reason to tell you no. You know, so if I'm showing up for a job, I personally am gonna think I'm the best candidate because I have done the research and I know the type of worker that I am. And that has always been the type of worker that I've been, and I am to this day. And I've witnessed so many things to where I can only land on words of jealousy, of hate, of greed, like I said, of nepotism, of just downright just dirty, bad, terrible people, right? At my place of employment. And it would be times where, because of, I would have to go through this, basically like mental and emotional abuse at my place of employment, where I serviced individuals in our community every single day, all day long. And I had to be able to show up and be the best Tanae and support that they needed while I was enduring these things. And I'm not just going to say it was just me. It was everybody on my team. Everybody. It wasn't just me. And I'm sad to say that, because at the time I thought it was a personal attack. But what I've come to learn and see when I look back, it was everybody. It wasn't just me. And a lot of this came from leadership, which is sad, because again, thinking back to the great supervisors that I had, I was able to look up to and learn and advance and things like that. And when you are in a position where you have leadership that you cannot look up to, that you don't trust, but you're stuck, right? You're stuck because you feel you have no place to go. You become complacent. It's comfortability and complacency. And I learned that throughout this time, because again, 2 years or two employers I was laid off from. Right out of college. 2 employers. And so I'm like, I gotta thug it out. Like, I gotta wait it out. And I did 8 years. People were leaving. Some sort of change was coming. Then it was not. Then it, you know, and then COVID was like really when it was like, okay, I'm not even going into the office, but the virtual interaction with these particular individuals is affecting my mental. Like, what is going on? And as a part of this, I was somebody who I will openly say had to have FMLA. I had to have something that would protect my job, because I'm going to therapy every week. I am going to my psychiatrist every week, multiple times throughout the month. And because of the various administrations that allow us to have FMLA to protect our jobs for health reasons, I had to be that person. I had to be somebody that had to utilize that, because I can't get out of bed to come to work. And I can't explain to you why, right? And again, as I continue to do this work on myself, I realized I sleep so good on the weekends. And mind you, I don't have a life at this point, because I'm barely sleeping, right? I barely sleep. I'm getting up to go to this job off of no sleep. So when Friday and Saturday come, I can just sleep. Barely talk to anybody. I gotta sleep. And if I try to and do any sort of thing outside of going to work and going to sleep, I would crash. I would have multiple days where I would crash in a row. And then I realized, okay, you only can't sleep Sunday through Thursday. What's happening on those next days, Sunday through Thursday? When me and my psychiatrist figured that out, I'm like, it's work. There it is after all. It's work. I have the inability to sleep because of this fear, because of this subconscious, like, this is danger. That it is danger when you go into this place. It is danger when you interact with certain individuals at this place. And it was like, for me, and this might sound so dramatic, but this is literally what was happening. For me, it was like, I can't convey to people what's happening. Like, y'all see it. This ain't right. There's nothing about this that is right. And you are asking me certain questions that I can't provide you an answer to, because I can't explain it to you. I just know it ain't right. Right? So when things started to become more clear and clear and clear, I'm like, I got to get out of here. But I loved what I did. I loved servicing individuals. I loved the joy that gave me. I loved some of the people that I worked with, and I knew and I felt, if I'm here, it's not going to make it so bad for them, right? If I'm here, it's not going to make it so bad, right? Which is crazy, because it was literally killing me. It was killing me. And that makes me sad saying that, but it was killing me. Like, the last 8 years at my previous employer literally was killing me. And finally, a year ago, I don't know if the army of angels that God keeps building for me and for my family and my friends was just finally like, okay, here's your sign. It's time to go. But angel on earth. Whew, got all choked up with y'all. Angel on earth, Brianna Allen, one of my previous coworkers who had also left, that's younger than me, my baby, that had endured very much of what I had endured. And she's a Pisces, and she was one of those people that I was like, you see, like, we had each other, like, we had each other. And she left, and I was so proud of her for leaving, because I was like, you got to get out of here, girl. You got to go. Anybody that was ready to go. Anybody that encountered me while I was there, that wanted to better themselves and go, because I felt so stuck. Because I'm just like, I have this FMLA because of this job giving me, like, contributing to the exacerbation of my mental illness. It was taking my mental health that I had lived with and was able to cope with and strategize or whatever to live with every day and enjoy life. It was making it worse to where I couldn't enjoy life. And it was just one random, I don't know, night. She was like, hey, how's everything going? And I was just like, girl, I can't. Like, I am not okay. And it's awesome to have friends who want to check up on you, not for particular situations or not to gossip, but just to check up on and be like, how's your mental health? Like, how are you feeling today? Right? And I'm that strong friend. Tend to be. Try to be. Like, oh, I'm cool. I'm good. Would this be the first time somebody had this type of gesture to me? No. But she was like, I'm like, girl, it's not. I got to go. She was like, look, if you want me to, I can put in or send your resume or whatever. Literally just like not hey, here's a new job. Just here, I can at least send it to the person who reached out to me. It was, you know, recruiter sort of thing. I'm like, my immediate was like, no, I'm cool, right? But I didn't say it this time. I was like, you know what? Let me think about it, you know. Let me think about it. I'll get back to you on Wednesday. She was like, okay. One time where I wasn't ready, right? Because I had a resume and a cover letter ready to where I'm like, this is what I needed to say and look like to get a job, to get the hell out of here. Because I gotta go. It's time to go. I didn't tell nobody. I didn't tell my parents, my friends, the guy that I was dating at the time. Nobody knew. And I got my resume ready. I got my cover letter ready. And I sent it to her. And she was like, okay, well, this is what you need to do. Do. And a week later, I had a new job. A week later, I had a new job. And for me, a new life. And again, at this time, 8 years at a job. 5 different medications at one point in time. 5 at one point in time. I think during this time, a year ago, I was on 3 medications. And within a week, I had a new job and a new life. And within a month and a half, I was off medication. For the first time in 8 years, I was off medication. I was sleeping on my own. I was sleeping without assistance. I was enjoying life. I was free. Like, Unchained and Unmedicated, like, how much better of a title could it get? Like, I was free. And this last year has been crazy. Like, it's been such a blessing. And when I knew I needed to record a video, I'm crying. I'm good, y'all, I promise. These are happy tears. When I knew I needed to record a video was when I was talking to my dad and my brother, my mom. If you guys know us, you know we're all close. We super close. Like, I live in Chicago, but you would think I'm in MC with them sometimes. But I was able to talk to them about my dreams and my hopes and things that I want to do. And, you know, like, this is something I want to do in a year. And in 6 months, this is something that I'm going to do. And I'm going to do this. And I'm going to get this done. And da-da-da. Making plans. I was making plans and dreams. And for 8 years, I couldn't do that. I was just hoping I woke up or that stuff changed at work. And when I tell you, I wasn't sitting idle at work. I was trying to contribute to change. I contribute to development of different policies. I was at this employer when I became a certified mental health first aid instructor and insisted upon training my entire staff and the incoming staff, and did that, right? These individuals that were contributing to the toxicity were in the training. Like, woo! But yes, so I wanted to sit down here and tell a little bit of my story, 30 minutes or so of my story, to influence others, to encourage others to listen to themselves, you know, to trust their gut, to do the work that you need to do to get to the next level, to get to where you want to be. If I had not, I'm going to be honest, if I had not been open and advocated for myself with my first doctor, that it's not just this, it's something else. If I had not shown up to the first appointment with my psychiatrist and continued to show up, right, and to continue to do the work and to take notes and then come home and research the hell out of words that I didn't understand or situations I didn't understand to better myself, if I didn't do those work, and it was hard, it wasn't easy, this stuff was not easy, it was hard. And one thing that I grew up, and my dad probably know, and my brother probably know exactly what I'm about to say, one thing that I grew up with, one slogan that I grew up with, and was if it was easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would be doing it. And unfortunately, everybody aren't doing a lot of things, you know? So not to say that it's supposed to be hard, but it can get hard. And you can get through it if you want to, you know? And life was hard for me for a very, very long time. And I'm not to say that life hasn't been hard in this year, but it's been a different type of hard. I have, for the first time, even now, in experiencing grief, unmedicated. I had lost four family members in that 8 period of time, and I was medicated and could barely thought I would survive getting through that, on top of having to work. And again, having to work, I had to. A lot of my complacency came from, I can't leave here because I'm in this whole they're pigeonholed me because I make really good money or pretty good money where I can sustain my life. And again, I was making the same amount of money for 8 years, no raise, no nothing. Different story, different day. But I had to stay because I had a life that I had to live, because there was nothing for me in Kalamazoo left. There was nothing for me in Ypsilanti that for myself. I love it. I love my family. But in terms of me making my money and the things that I wanted to do, the trajectory of my life, of where I saw it, Chicago is where I needed to be and what I needed to make work. And I made it work. And I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust the people that were telling me, my doctor, like, is it your job? No, it's not my job. Even if it is, I gotta stay. I can't go nowhere else. I have nowhere else to go, right? And although I'm no longer in that industry, which is okay, the industry and the love and the passion and the lifelong career that it has brought me is mental health. And it's put me in a place like I am today, to sit here and talk to you openly and give you a real life experience that I'm sure many of you may have experienced. And if you have, I'm sorry. And if you haven't, I pray that you never have to experience or endure, you know, the things that I went through at my place of employment, right? Where you did everything right. And I ain't no snitch, like they like to say, as if that's a bad thing. Because I'm that friend where if you committing a crime, you with me, don't do it if the police can't know, because I ain't going to jail. Period. I don't care how y'all feel about that. I ain't going to jail. So don't be committing no crimes in front of me if the police can't know. All right. But again, like, you know, I'm always for making a situation better. And I know there's various different management styles. I know there's situations where you just feel like you be a better manager, you can do a better job. I understand that. This ain't that at all. I am that person where I don't care what level of education you have. If you are somebody that I am supposed to report to as a supervisor, I'm going to respect you and hold you to that, regardless of how I feel about myself and what I can do and blah, blah, blah. If you're my supervisor, that's where I'm going to hold you, and you're my supervisor. I'm never going to talk down to you. You're my supervisor. You could be my best friend. You my supervisor at work. Outside of work is a wholly different story, right? So this isn't that. This is me truly speaking up and speaking out about, you know, the things that we influence or experience that we can't really change, right? And a lot of what I learned in that industry is you control the controllables. And the thing that I could control was getting me the hell out of there. And I did. And I will never look down upon that experience. I wish I didn't have to experience. I wish the people that are there still, if you're experiencing it, which I'm sad to say, I feel like you might be, that you don't have to experience those things, and to know that you can get out. You don't have to stay, right? You don't have to stay where you are not respected. You don't have to stay where you feel as though you can't go on because you got to go to work. Like, you're not crazy. You're not insane. You're not overthinking things. You're not, you know, what you feel is happening is what's happening, and get out of there. You can get out of there. And I commend those that can quit a job like that. I commend y'all. I commend you, you know, and I don't envy you in a way, you know, but I commend you because, hey, you do what you got to do. But me, I have this certain where I can't live on a whim when it comes to my bills and food and clothes and my necklace. I need to know where the check is coming from. That's why most commission-based jobs I can't do, because I need to know what that check gonna say on Friday. Every Friday, I need to know what the check gonna say. That's me. That's who I am. Whatever. No shade to people who are in any of those industries, but that's just me. So, yeah, I just wanted to come and talk to you guys about how my life changed in a year how leaving a job literally got me off of mental health medication. And I'm not going to say that that was the leading cause of why, because, right, again, I'm somebody who lives with mental illness. I live with severe generalized anxiety. I live with PTSD, you know, I live with those things. But, and I'm that person who just has that chemical imbalance. I'm not saying don't take medication. I'm not saying take all the medication. I'm saying do what works for you, but do the work, right? You don't know what's going to work until it works or not. Honestly, there were so many different things that I tried throughout this 8 years period of time to narrow down and to really just make myself better. At the end of the day, the choice was mine to make myself better. And I'm so happy that I was able to take that choice. I'm so happy that I can be a living, walking, breathing testimony of, you know, the setbacks and the joys of discovering yourself and self-love and mental health. It's empowering. It's an empowering thing. I'm so blessed. I'm not saying that, hey, 10, 15 years from now, 2-3 years from now, that I won't be on medication again, but I do know now that how to recognize things. That's one more trigger that I was able to understand and to do away from, to be able to live the life that I deserve, that I feel I deserve, and the life that I've been working so hard for. So again, love yourself, take care of yourself. I love you. Be good.